40% podcast. I'm 40% podcast. You know I'm 40% podcast, baby. You know I'm 40% podcast. You know I'm 40% podcast, baby. I'm only 40%. Go. 40% podcast. I'm 40% podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Jinkx Monsoon, and welcome to a brand new episode of I'm 40% Podcast, the queer Futurama review. The queer Futurama review podcast that nobody asked for. As always, I'm joined by the little shithead who burst from my loins, Nick Sahoya. Nick, how are you doing
So do you
today?
want me to edit out the stumble from the intro? I thought we were done with this bit.
I do a
can
lot of
edit it out.
podcasts, okay? I know things don't have to be perfect in the podcast world, okay? So you need to just
because you are a successful podcaster, so we know that's the
set
case.
your standards to something more realistic, okay? And mind your P's and Q's. Today, we have a wonderful, talented, gorgeous, brilliant guest. I'm acting as if you can't already see her in the window. It's Alaska Thunderfvck. Hi, Alaska.
Hi. Wait, this is on video? Oh my god.
Yeah, everyone can see you.
Oh, I forgot we have to start specifying that we use the video.
We should warn people.
component.
I'm at my mom's house. These on the wall are pictures of actors from General Hospital that I got somehow signed for her because she loves General Hospital. Hi, my name's Alaska and I'm in my mom's bedroom.
Alaska, you have a brand new book out, right? What it's called? My Name's Yours. What's Alaska?
Yes, that's what
Hi,
it's
I'm
called.
yours. Who's
Hi.
Nebraska?
Who is book? What is Nebraska?
The fag in the bag. Because you wear garbage bags. We'll bleep
that's
it.
good.
A Dr. Seuss reboot. Okay. Alaska, are you a big Futurama fan?
I am. I'm
good.
such a huge fan of the show. I met Katie Seagal. Well, I didn't meet her. I made pizza for her daughter once when I was working in a cafe in Los Angeles. Katie Seagal came in. She was so gorgeous. She was like, please put a rush on that pizza. It's for my daughter and I have to pick her up at school. I was like, yes, right away. And then I was like, I really hope Futurama comes back. And she was like, thank you. Yes, so do I. Very serious.
Was that after the
when
first
was this?
Futurama cancellation?
Yes, it was the first Futurama cancellation. And then it did eventually come back.
Yeah.
I think it's because you said it. You willed it into the world.
She knew that the fans wanted it. People in pizza places are telling me
She
this.
immediately went from the pizza restaurant to Fox. And she was like, the
You
Don't
fans are
understand.
rabid.
Some fag in a
and
bag
being accosted in a pizza
just
place.
told me what's his name? I can't remember.
Mr. Panucci's.
Panucci's Pizza.
Palucci's Pizza.
I was gonna say Pagliucci.
Right. Yeah.
Some just pan Italian pizza name. Alaska. So you're a fan of Futurama. Did you watch it?
Yes.
You obviously watched it while it was airing because you bullied Katie Seagal at a pizza place as if
did.
she had any control. Will you
Yes.
stop putting unrealistic expectations on our TV moms, please? They're just human beings. They're just trying to live their lives.
I hear you, but I won't stop. I won't stop doing that. I hear your request. I'm turning it down.
Request denied. How you're the same age as us, give or
As
take.
Katie Seagal.
So we were all about the same age watching Futurama, teenagers, late teens.
Yes. Yes.
Would you say that Futurama's had an impact on your sense of humor as a comedian? Has it had any impact on your drag?
Yes, totally. And we weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons growing up because my dad was like, I don't like how they talk to their parents, so I don't want you watching that. So we weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons, but we kind of did anyway. And then Futurama came along, and then it was like, that's like The Simpsons, but, you know, in space. And I was old enough.
Parents.
And no parents that are being, you know, insubordinated. And no, I loved it. I think it's so funny. I used to draw like comic books in high school, like starring all of my friends. And we were the power people. And but we were like the Power Rangers, but we like didn't do anything. We were just ourselves at school, but we were the power people.
Changed it for trademark reasons, yeah.
Right, exactly. And it was very influenced by Futurama, that type of humor and that type of just like far-flung like fantasy. I loved it.
No rules. It's the future. Aliens are everywhere. Robots can do anything. We have no rules. We're just set free.
Yes. And it's very cunty. It's very satirical and very like taking the piss out of everyone, but like, you know, not too mean.
Yeah. Never too mean. I mean, who are they really mean to?
This show gives me a lot of Y2K nostalgia. Do you think you could do a remix of your song Y2K that's all Futurama references?
I know, I would love to. I should have done that. I was watching and
it's not too late.
The professor was like, "You're my nephew from the year 2000." And I was like, Fry is from the year 2000. My whole new album is based on like year 2000. I also think Fry is like kind of hot.
Okay, we'll get into it.
You guys can fight over him, yeah.
Fry has always kind of been like my dream spouse, you know, like since I was a kid. I wouldn't say Michael's not Fry. I mean, he's a lot more ambitious and intelligent, but
right.
but otherwise, so what you're saying is you're just going to delete the music video you had in the can and reshoot it with a Futurama theme for your next music
Futurama
video.
Yes, all about Slurm and tubes and suicide booths.
Well, you could always just do like a Fame Monster version and in like 6 months put out like 8 more tracks. And they're mostly about Futurama.
It's such a good idea. And who knows, I might do that.
This is one of my favorite episodes, or at least one of the episodes I quote a lot. I also noticed moments that were problematic that I had never noticed before in the past. But we'll get there in due time. Starting at the very, very beginning. It wasn't a lot. No. It was a medium amount of problematicism. At the very beginning, I can't remember what the cold open is, but I know that this
All My Circuits. Calculon's wife is sleeping with a garbage can robot. And it's also Calculon's half-brother.
Yes.
And there's no law against killing the other half.
Right.
I love how he pulls out the gun and it's so dramatic. I'll kill you. There's no law at murdering the other half. And then it cuts to... All My Circuits will be back after these messages. We find out in the cold open that Fry's addicted to Slurm.
Yes.
And it's introduced that there's a Slurm contest, a la Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't remember what's the real title of that goddamn movie that's been remade. But we know the premise. We know the trope.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Everyone has done a Willy Wonka parody. It's one of the most parodied things. And now Drag Race is doing it. They're like, and there's something about a candy bar this season.
I'm surprised Rue wasn't wearing just a big brown velvet top hat for that moment. Like, lean in. If you're going to...
She never does the theme.
Yeah, go back to the genderfuck days. Let's bring it.
She never does the theme. She's like, the theme is red for filth. And then she shows up wearing like lime green, like sequins.
She did
like
that on
polka
our
dots.
Pretty in Pink. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a
Yes.
power move. I respect it.
In the Slurm commercial where we learn about the contest, we also meet Slurm's Mackenzie, who is a parody of Spud's Mackenzie,
Yes.
the Budweiser dog.
The
Was he
Budweiser dog, yes. Right? Yeah, Budweiser.
And he was later
dog.
banned for catering towards children.
What about that adorable puppy dog who catered to children? That puppy dog who breaks all the rules.
The teddy bear cigarette ad campaign person.
Does anyone know, did Spuds Mackenzie have like two foxy ladies like flanking him on either
I don't know
side?
if it was the same two foxy ladies, but it was always heavily implied that dog is getting laid. It's always heavily implied that that dog has a harem of human women. I don't know that they're having sex, but they are meeting his needs.
Yes.
So Fry, of course, Fry is addicted to Slurm. We're not surprised. Fry is from the year 2000. He eats nothing but junk food, blah, blah, blah. He's wanting to win the contest. Unfortunately, in his can is just a tooth. We think first, I like this joke. Okay, so they have a golden bottle cap in one of their cans of Slurm.
Right.
Just floating around in something you're drinking. Fry is hoping to find one of those and is disappointed to find another tooth. That's already like concerning because there's been multiple teeth in his cans of Slurm, and we're like, what's happening at the Slurm Factory that there's all these teeth in the cans? But then it's revealed that it's Fry's teeth. Fry's teeth are falling out from drinking all the Slurm. That's what we call a joke on a joke on a joke on a joke. It just keeps bam, 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 TKO.
That is what they do. And this is from season 2. Slurm has been a thing in the universe.
It's been background noise, but we haven't been focused on Slurm yet.
And the catchphrase is, it's highly addictive. So I'm glad they're like diving in and giving us like, oh, we finally get the whole Slurm story.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's highly addictive. And then we have the opening credits, which has multiple Easter eggs. The first being that this is airing on Omicron Persei 8, which was just introduced in the last episode. And then we get The Simpsons and the giant screen monitor, which, of course, is Matt Groening's other famous animated show at the time.
Little known animation project from the Tracy Ullman show.
Working on in his spare time.
Does Tracy Ullman get residuals from all these 35 years of Simpsons episodes?
Did she invent it or did she just give space for it?
I think she just held space.
She was holding space for The Simpsons.
That's like the freaking guy who tried to control Dolly Parton's career because she started on his TV show. No, you got to let your artists fly free once they surpass you. And if you ever surpass me, Nick, if that ever happens, if that cold day in hell ever comes to fruition, I will gladly set you free. I just won't be here for you when you come back.
It's not how it's gonna play out. You're gonna go nuts.
That's not how it went down, man.
Fry is chugging more Slurm. He reveals that he used to drink 100 cans of cola a week. Bender enters, and he's
right
feeling
up till
very
his third
sick.
heart attack. You can't just
Right
introduce the
attack.
100 colas and not...
My mom really liked that joke. And I watched this episode. I just got to my mom's house in Erie, Pennsylvania. And she was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I hate cartoons and I hate outer space. I was like, oh, she's not going to like this. But that one really got a laugh. And then it was like the opening credits and she was like, did you see that? There was bumper to bumper traffic in the sky. They were flying in the sky, but there's traffic.
Leave
What kind of shows does
That
Pam...
makes no sense. How do you... I don't know.
What kind of shows does Pam enjoy? What's more up her alley?
General Hospital. And we watched an episode, and I find it so watchable.
Now, General Hospital, that's one where they'd be like switching brains and bodies, right?
It's not quite that extreme. It's more like interpersonal. Like people get kidnapped, and like if it's sweep, like if it's something's happening, like someone will get kidnapped.
Someone will be trafficked. But, you know, it was sweep.
Port Charles. That's where it takes place. Port Charles.
After we get back in, Bender is showing signs of being sick. I love that. I love that Leela tries to take his temperature. It burns her hand, and the professor says, "Bender's temperature gauge, which I suggest you use next time, Leela."
She's pissed. She is pissed.
I just love that the professor's always pointing out that he's a genius and everyone else is super dumb.
Yes.
Bender is sick. We get some jabs at homeopathic medicine in here when Amy suggests
Do you hear what
taking
he
some
said?
zinc. He says,
Did you
I'm
hear?
40% zinc, which is, of course,
It's the
is
first
where...
one.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
first
is
Or did he
that
say it
the
already?
40%? I don't know. How do you track something like that?
It's so
We can listen
timeless.
to this podcast and hope we
I'm so
mentioned it the first time
honored.
it happened.
That's the title. And he says that like hundreds of times.
Yes, he does say it multiple times throughout the series. This may be the first time he says it. I love the jab at homeopathic medicine because, I don't know, I'm someone who takes a shit ton of supplements, and I'm fully convinced, you know, like what's doing the good here is my brain thinking, I'm going to generate more potassium today because I took this pill. I'm not going to pee it all out. You know, it is a little
Oh my
placebo.
God, Alaska,
but...
one time, so she had a suitcase. She got a brand new suitcase, and she put it down in the garage. This was when we were living together. And our cat thought it was a new litter box and peed in it. So she had to go down and clean all of her stuff, including her emergency packets, which we had just had a conversation about. We had told her they were not real, but she still hand dabbed the pee off of the emergency packets and then drank them later.
Okay, you're just taking a lot of liberties here.
The cat pee
exactly
made it
what
stronger. The cat pee made it stronger
Haven't
and more
you-
effective.
Yeah, haven't you seen those people treating themselves with urine? I
Drinking
guess
their
it's
own
like
pee.
I've tried it for years. I didn't know there were any positive effects, but
before the jab at homeopathic medicine, though, of course, we get some good Zoidberg jokes. He says he's not good at robot medicine. He focuses on humans, and then he turns to Fry and asks Fry what the problem is. What? You're not the robot? And then when he does diagnose Bender, it's with fin fungus.
A fish disease of some sort.
right.
Not even a lobster disease, because lobsters don't have fins.
We don't care
Well,
if
they-
he's a lobster or a crab. We already decided that in our last episode.
I know, but lobsters and crabs both don't have fins.
Correct. Yes.
They have
It's
claws
not.
and
It's
legs.
not up to you to judge Zoidberg's culture and to determine like what Zoidberg is knowledgeable about. If he knows it's fin fungus on that robot, then I mean he's the professional. If he told me to take the vaccine,
We're really off the rails. So
You're not the robot. I love that he says robot. That's what Gabe and I say to each other whenever we're talking about robots. We call them robots. Probably
this happen
because
a
of
lot?
Zoidberg.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a bunch of things from this show that I pronounce weird because they said it weird on the
because
show one
Futurama
time.
taught you that word.
And
can't say-
Omicron. Omicron Persei 8. That's the first place I ever heard Omicron, and now everyone knows fucking Omicron.
I was talking
Everyone
about
knows it.
Omicron way before people were contracting it.
Yes.
They give up on Dr. Zoidberg, and the professor suggests using an F-ray, which is like a flashlight, but it's like stronger than an X-ray. I don't know why it's F. Wouldn't like Z make more sense? Anyway, they use it to look at the inside of Bender's stomach, but the professor says there's going to be all this radiation, and he gives everyone else these just like little science goggles. Meanwhile, he's getting into a full hazmat suit and getting behind like a lead wall.
Then he has the great line, "Now this may sting a little bit. All of you." They find the source of Bender's illness. It's Amy's watch stuck in a gear that he suddenly has in his stomach.
That's what his internal cavity now looks like.
That's we're going with it. We don't need to question it. That's what his internal stomach cavity now looks like.
Where he like
you
keeps
think
stuff
that-
all the time.
Yeah. Like when a head goes in there, do the gears move around? Is there just a curtain in front of the gears that it's creating a nice illusion?
And later in the episode, he gets a hole cut in his stomach, and we can see into it, and there's nothing there. So, I mean,
Well, it would have cut the gears too.
This is what I love about animation now. And this is why, you know, as much as it makes me seem like an adult child, this is why I watch animation, is because there's literally, who cares about the rules? Who cares about what's inside of the robot? I just want the jokes. Just deliver me the jokes in the most satisfying vehicle. I don't give a fuck about the sci-fi of it. I don't know how the mechanics are supposed to work, and I don't fucking care. I want a robot that can do anything.
That you can cut a hole clean through him. He's empty like a Tesla, like the front of a Tesla under the hood. It's empty. There's nothing there.
So this sets up. There was a moment where the professor says, "This gives me a flimsy excuse to use my new F-ray." What I love about that is it's commenting on what's happening. It's a flimsy transition from Bender being sick to get us back to the A plot, which is looking for the Slurm bottle cap.
Yes.
So, of course, Fry and Bender steal the F-ray, but it takes them quite a while. They have a whole host of shenanigans before they realize they can use the F-ray to find the bottle cap. We've been thinking about it this whole time. We're like, finally, they can find the bottle cap. But they had to go on a whole like montage worth of adventures with the F-ray before they come to that conclusion.
No, luckily the deadly radiation completely is gone and no more. Wouldn't Fry be dead? They used it on him. They used it on a lot of people and things and
it killed all of his sperm.
This brings me to a paradox. Now, if this is why we created the I'm 40% podcast. To be able to discuss these important issues. For anyone listening, if you're watching Futurama for the first time, you may want to skip ahead a little bit. I don't know. I'm not going to give you a timestamp because I don't know how to do that.
Oh my God, I know what you're going to say.
But this is a huge paradox. This is a huge plot hole. Fry is shot with the F-ray. He says, "Ow, my sperm hurts." Then he's shot with the F-ray again and says, "It didn't hurt that time," implying that Fry was just made infertile in this episode. But later, this season, I think, he goes back in time and accidentally impregnates his own grandmother, effectively becoming his own grandfather. Except how did he do that if he is now infertile?
Wow.
What if it just killed all of the sperms that were currently in there and then it started making some more?
Listen, Alaska was just talking about it. They've been running around with this F-ray all day. The professor had to get his suit decontaminated after just a fraction of time spent in the presence of the F-ray.
It's deadly. It's very deadly.
Fry should be bald. Fry should look like Schmeagol by now. Not quite Gollum, but on the way.
I don't know. This universe is just full of holes and inconsistencies. I don't know about this show. I don't know if it's going to last. I don't know.
So,
speaking of the sperm moment, right after that is where we get the sort of problematic thing that we were dancing around earlier.
Sperm. It's highly addictive.
That's actually a great slogan. Can someone Photoshop this behind me to say sperm instead? Enjoy sperm. We have a lady walking down the street, a lady robot, and Bender F-rays her, which is already an invasion of privacy, and claims because of something that he sees, he invalidates her femininity, which is my biggest problem with it, because we do not impose our perceptions of gender onto other people. We take it at face value. Whatever they say their gender is, that's their gender. That's how we do things. But then I think also pretty offensive is, even though she kind of stands up for herself, which I like, I do think it's a white guy doing this Latina voice. I'm like 90% sure it's Billy West.
Those are the two layers of what's problematic with this moment.
So much.
What I will say is, I did like that the hooker bot got, and that's, I think, her name in the show. That's not me. I mean, today she would be named. She's named hooker bot later in the show. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Well, if not, then cancel Jinkx.
I would name her sex worker bot. But anyway, she does get the upper hand, and she gets the last word. So in some ways, I'm like, at least sex worker bot stands up for herself, and
I don't think that fazed her at all. She went on about her day.
She's a survivor.
We live for sex worker bot.
You think Bender is the first problematic man bot to get in her way, and she's still here. Damn it.
Exactly. And if they ever bring back Futurama, I hope that she's a central character who's fully fleshed out. We get her whole backstory.
She gets agency.
Exactly. That's my hope for the reboot, and the inevitable reboot.
I would hope for, with what a sex addict Bender is, I would hope that in any Futurama reboot, Bender's sexuality would be expanding and he'd be exploring more, and maybe find that he is trans-amorous, like a Trans Am. Is that like in a robot, trans-amorous? Did I do it? Did I make a funny joke?
Well, he's already he gets into robosexuality later, which is already transgressive in the society. So maybe that will tear down some of his boundaries internally.
He never sucks a dick.
Know.
I think there needs to be more, bisexual will they, won't they moments in any Futurama reboot. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Alaska, who do you ship on this show? What gay couple do you wish existed on this show that does not?
Fry and me.
Famous Futurama character, Alaska Thunderfvck.
There's that moment in this episode where he leans over and his shirt comes up a little bit, and I was like, oh man. I just find him so hot, cute.
Yeah, me too. And that's why, I do get upset. They make many comments throughout the show about how mediocre his penis is.
I don't care.
I don't care one bit, because I feel like it's still gonna be good sex, right? I love having sex with
pussy. Maybe he's just really appreciative to be with a woman, so he puts in the effort.
Have you ever gone over...
Amy does say he's not a fantastic lover. Amy does say that one time.
Have you ever gone over to a hookup's place and their bedroom's just a mess, and that does it for you? Oh my gosh, that's a whole different episode. That's literally an episode we'll get into later. Back on this episode.
They go back to the Planet Express. Leela and the professor are playing 3D Scrabble. If you look closely, the professor's letters spell Futurama. Little Easter egg for you. They say, we drank all this slurm and all we want is this junk. And there's a huge wheelbarrow full of a bunch of stuff. It looks pretty valuable. And then right when he gives up, Fry drinks one last Slurm, and there's the bottle cap. Just that easy. And they blast the F-ray right at his face and neck. And they see the bottle cap in his throat.
Weren't his last words before drinking this one last Slurm was, I never want to see another can of Slurm as long as I live. And then he just picks up the can of Slurm and starts drinking. I relate to that level of addiction. Like, I relate to that level of addiction where you're standing there saying, I am never going to drink again. And then you just lift up the bottle of vodka to your mouth.
Okay, so then we go to Planet Wormulon.
It was the bottle cap was there all along. They never had to go any further than their own backyard.
Yeah, was that just in a case of Slurm that was
along.
like in the storage area and they brought it and they just never thought to look in there? Very confusing.
They just randomly, they were the rightful winners.
They were Charlie Bucket.
The bottle cap found them, really.
It did. It did. And that is the life lesson of this
After the commercial break,
to the
we are
Slurm
taking to
Factory.
Planet Wormulon. It's on Planet Wormulon. I do have an issue with them being called worms. They are clearly slugs.
Which we also call, I mean, this is another Zoidberg situation because they're slugs when they need to be slugs. They're worms when they need to be worms. Yeah. What we have to accept about the alien races of the Futurama universe is they can be whatever they need to be at any given moment.
Exactly.
Oh, maybe they're like Avatar and they're always two animals. You know?
They're always two. Yeah, like Kif is a frog and a lizard all at the same time.
Right.
We've met Kif.
We've met Kif a couple times.
Leela is a mutant, but also
we don't know it yet. But she's also an alien, and she's also a human, and she's also Cyclops. If you consider that something different,
I do. I for one do.
I'm going off the record. They make it to the Slurm Factory on Planet Wormulon, and we get to meet Slurm's Mackenzie in the flesh, and we meet
and he
Guillermo.
says, "Wimmy wham wham wazzle," which is a great name.
And we meet what's his Guillermo,
yeah,
Guillermo. Who will be our Willy Wonka for the day. Now, as we get into the Slurm Factory, I want to pose the question, why? Why did they ever think it was a good idea to do this? Who came up with this marketing ploy? It feels like it fell apart really quickly. It feels like there was no end game.
Shop.
They only let the one
so
group of people in, so it wasn't even that big of a publicity stunt.
There's no news cameras covering the tour. Look at these lucky...
They had to make a whole factory's worth of lies to do this one marketing ploy that in no way serves them at all.
Yeah. And what exactly are the parameters? Because Fry won the bottle cap and then brought like 17 people with him. On Willy Wonka, it was like, you can bring your one guardian, right?
Dying grandpa.
Right.
Yes, it was your one guardian.
Bring whoever you want. Bring everyone. We'll lose track of how many people are even in your party.
Well, you ladies can relate to this when someone's like, hey, can I get a couple plus ones? And then it turns into like plus 20.
The whole entourage has to come. And also, we have to remember that these are just his coworkers. He's just like, hey, I know I won, but can I bring my entire staff, the entire office building with me? The doctor, the accountant, the seldom seen accountant gets to come.
Yes. We have a highly sensitive secret we don't want to get out. Bring as many crazy people as you want.
Many zany characters.
Zany, adventurous folk.
I think what it is that they just, they know we know the movie that it's referencing. So they're leaning on that to not have to like over explain things. And that's how we're able to get straight into the magical factory. Welcome to the wondrous place, the fantastical place we call the Slurm Centralized Fabrication. The most technical name.
It's a real big magical room, and what Bender says is, look, flowers and a boat. That's just what's impressive to him. We meet the Grunkalunkas. They are very upsetting. Do we have thoughts on the Grunkalunkas?
Now, I know they are a made-up people, but everyone's fervent detest of the Grunkalunkas. Everyone immediately hates them.
I was really upset by them on this viewing. I haven't felt this strongly about them in the past, but they really made me upset. Their song was so discordant and strange.
I was upset by everyone's reaction to the Grunkalunkas. The professor calls them disgusting. Tell them I hate them.
Tell them I hate them. Really doesn't like them.
But I love the song they sing because I love the joke they're making about like finding the rhymes. They just make up the words. Grunkalunka dunkety darmed guards. Grunkalunka dunkety deedly dunkety deedly. You better not ask about the secret ingredients. It's I think it's good. I think it's funny.
I love it.
Alaska, you're a songwriter. Did you find camaraderie with these fellow songwriters, these chanteuses?
Yes, because I too enjoy ham-fisted rhymes that are forced and barely feasible and completely unbelievable, just to get the rhyme at the end.
Just to get the rhyme.
They are brought onto a boat. There's mention of a secret ingredient. We don't get to know what it is.
Yes.
At one point, Guillermo says there will be no further questions. Fry politely raises his hand and says why, which really makes me laugh. We see the Slurm master. He's a very old slug, and he's like got a monocle in one of his slug eyes, and he's sipping and tasting it, and it's making Fry so thirsty.
And tasting it and tasting it, and then he tastes it some more. So we know that something's up. We know that with Guillermo's reluctance to talk about the secret ingredient, that's what we must now investigate. Because the Planet Express crew is a package delivering company, but they are also part Scooby-Doo. They're also part, like, they take up arms when they have to. Hi, Pam!
Jinkx says hi.
Hi. Great. Now we have to pay her.
Right. Credits. Put her in the credits.
So we know we're gonna figure out what the secret ingredient is by the end of this episode, but I can't wait. I can't wait to learn what it is.
I have a question. The voice of Wormo or Glurmo or whatever the sort of the guy who the guide, Glurmo.
Yeah.
The voice is the same person doing the professor's voice. Like, how many voices does
Billy
that
West.
actor?
Billy West does Fry. He does the professor. He does Zap Brannigan. He does oh my God, he does everyone. He does like the fucking
side characters all the time.
Nixon. The opera episode is just Billy West singing a solo, basically.
So good.
He's very good.
Really impressive to me. The voices on this show in general, and like the older woman who does
Tress MacNeille, who's one of my favorite voice
amazing.
actors.
So good. Mom.
Yeah, she's like every background character in The Simpsons, but in Futurama and Disenchanted, she voices just tons of foreground characters. She's in every episode. Unfortunately, with with 2 voice actors on the payroll who are so talented, can do so many voices.
They take all the good roles.
It leads to Billy West and Tress MacNeille both being guilty of voicing a myriad of ethnicities that they don't belong to.
Right.
Which we talk about a lot when we talk about cartoons from the 2000s, but we can only hope that they do better from here on out.
Exactly.
At least with Futurama, a lot of these people are made up races, and maybe they think they have some leeway there. What? What? Were we gonna get a slug to voice her? Come on,
They should
Tress
have.
MacNeille was right there.
They should
There's a lot
have.
of slug actors that could have
Yeah.
really used that paycheck. Fry is so thirsty that he decides to drink the river slurm. Fry says, Leela says, that's stupid, you're gonna fall in. Fry says, that's fine, I'll just swim around in the slurm. He falls in and says, help, I can't swim. Leela jumps in after him, and so does Bender for no reason, just because everyone else was doing it and he wanted to be popular. So they become separated.
Because we needed
Thoughts?
the trio. We needed the adventure trio.
We needed the main 3.
Yes.
You know, of course, they're about to introduce a bunch of new characters, so they have to trim down who's going to go interact with those people so that we can pay attention. You know, we need to zero in on what's about to happen. They end up in the secret ingredient room with the Slurm Queen. Now, before we continue with this episode,
Slurm Queen!
let me just nip it in the bud. Nick, get all your jokes about me being the Slurm Queen out now.
Oh, no, I
Because
didn't.
I'm not going to listen to the rest of the episode of just like
I
Nick
just
saying
think
like,
she would.
that's just like
It would be
you,
a good Halloween
Jinkx.
costume. That's all. And
I mean,
especially the part where she drinks her own slurm. I'm like, it's Jinkx.
we meet the Slurm Queen. Now, here's what I love about this reveal. Fry says, ew. So the Slurm Queen is, you know, excreting sludge into the cans of Slurm, and Fry screams, oh my God, that's the secret ingredient. And then Leela reveals, no, it's the only ingredient. So the whole factory tour was nothing. The entire factory tour was just staged for this one specific marketing ploy.
And it's not like the Grunkalunkas are helping in the factory.
That's why they did it. Because they had to fool the public.
Maybe someone was getting close. Maybe someone had evidence and they were trying to get ahead of it.
The Grunkalunkas, they have a good union.
They were unionizing and they were trying to whistle blow on the Slurm Factory.
We're getting deeper.
They think they have a good union, but they don't. that line just tickles me. It's just so matter of fact. There's no like punchline. It's just they think they have a good union, but they don't. Once they learn the disgusting secret about Slurm. Oh, I do love that.
Queen!
You do a good Slurm Queen. I do love that Leela kicks Guillermo into 2 smaller slugs.
Oh, yes.
She does a side kick and it chops off his head, but then the head grows a butt and the butt grows a new head. So it's 2 Guillermos.
Grows a new tuxedo. And I love that someone hands the new Guillermo a top hat that they just had at the ready. Because
this happens a lot.
All the time.
Here, just take it.
Here.
We need
Let
a
me go
hat
fetch
over
another
here.
one from the closet. And they have to have increasingly smaller top hats.
Yes, they do. I want
like
to see that
diabetes.
closet. Yes, very diabetic.
They try to make an escape, but they end up back in the ingredient room. Bender uncharacteristically helps them across the gap. He says, I'll save us. And I was thinking, that's not Bender. But then he charges them. And I was like, there's our Bender.
Oh.
Then they end up back in the ingredient room. And Bender says, Your Highness, I brought you the prisoners. And then I'm like, there's our Bender.
Also, Leela is amazing. She
Leela is amazing.
kicking and flipping, and she doesn't just
And
walk
she wastes
somewhere.
no
She like
time.
she like does backflips to like go places. Was it her job was just like scanning people's wristbands? When did she do their military training?
Well, we know that she had a hard upbringing. She grew up in the orphanarium.
Oh,
We know
yes?
that she
Okay.
backpacked around Tibet for a while and was like a Hare Krishna member. So
Right.
she's lived a life, before she ended up.
Do you think she has like mutant strength? We don't know a lot about her mutations.
I don't think we should assume.
How dare
It's a
you?
question.
How dare you? Nick?
Oh, so all mutants are good for is lifting rocks and being strong.
I'm just saying, I saw a lot of 90s comedians.
Like to kick?
And there was a lot of jokes about mutants being strong. I internalized it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is something we know about mutants, is they have freakish mutant strength. Isn't that like a term that you got that freak mutant strength? Probably dating back to the circus days from the freak shows.
Right.
The Slurm Queen has devised...
A disgusting secret!
She has devised different deaths for our three heroes. Bender will be turned into Slurm cans by being placed on a conveyor belt.
Makes
Because
sense.
Mila will
Slurm
be-
is a green factory. Actually, it is pretty green
I
if you think
appreciate
about
that,
it.
yeah.
All they need is those berries. I
Farm
mean,
to
we need to know
table.
what the carbon imprint of those berries are. But otherwise,
Yeah, and they probably feed the queen something, but other than that, it's actually pretty
that's
ecological.
the berries. That's what I was saying.
They
They
okay,
feed
feed
well,
her
fine.
berries.
bushels of berries.
But they have to be massaged first, as we know.
And she's also a good person because they clarify, because they say that Leela's going to be dipped into a substance that will turn her into a Slurm Queen. So they could have 100 Slurm Queens. They have a substance that can turn you into a Slurm Queen, but you have to be the right kind of person for it to taste good.
Yeah, her Slurm will taste foul.
She's a commoner. Her Slurm will taste foul.
Okay.
Okay. There's two big
Okay.
things.
You have to
There's
be
two
from
big
the
things
royal
Coke
family.
joke in there.
about there's two big things about the capitalist food and snack industry here. They're disgusted that Slurm comes out of a giant slug's behind.
Yes.
But the Slurm Queen points out that honey comes from a bee's behind, milk comes from a cow's behind. And then she implies that toothpaste comes from something's behind that we don't even want to know
Somewhere
about.
even worse.
Because it would ruin toothpaste for us. And it did kind of make me think, I have no idea what toothpaste is made out of. I take this
Right.
stuff and I rub it all over my teeth.
Each day.
Each
Twice.
day. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Is
I made
like
it in school once.
sand paste? Is it pumice?
It's like baking soda and some sort of bonding ingredient. I can't remember. I made it, and I remember it was really gross because we made it in like a plastic Ziploc baggie, and it was like our science experiment for the day was making toothpaste, and then we could take it home and use it on our teeth if we wanted. So I just had a bag of like
Use it
loose
on your
goo
teeth
in
if
my
you want.
in my backpack.
I
It
think
was
we
public
did
school
that
toothpaste.
too. I
Yeah?
think we did that too. How did teachers get this information from state to state with no internet?
I never made toothpaste. We made ice cream in science.
Oh, what is school? What are the kids doing?
What is school?
What
Oh
the
my
fuck
God.
are we doing?
Learning how ice is made.
Fry is left to be free if he can resist the concentrated super slurm, which he clearly cannot.
No.
The Slurm Queen leaves and says, like, you're doomed, but also congratulations on winning the contest. And she, like, does an
She's
evil
still a
cackle after.
CEO, you know? I love the moment
So
where
it's up to Fry to save the other two.
Yeah,
but he
and
can't
he's
do
trying, but he can't. And I love when Bender says, "What's happening? Are we boned?" And Leela goes, "Yeah, we're boned." Like they have just accepted their fate at this point.
I have a
because they know-
curiosity. How long did Leela need to be in there to become a Slurm Queen?
She didn't even.
And is it like a
start
light
turning into a
switch or is
Slurm.
it like a dimmer? That's my question. Like, why wasn't she like 25% Slurm Queen?
Yeah,
That's what
I
I
don't
thought,
think it's
too.
a dimmer thing. I think it's something like. I think maybe if I were giving them the most possible credit as writers, they're making some kind of offhand joke about, like when you leave a tooth or a penny in Coca-Cola overnight,
Sure.
it's supposed to like disintegrate the tooth or
Okay.
the. So maybe they were planning on leaving her overnight. Maybe
okay.
Sure.
maybe the transition isn't perceptible to the naked eye. But just by the morning time, she'll be a Slurm Queen.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I buy it.
Because, I was expecting, like, you pull her out and she's got, like, like her feet have become squishy little slurm feet.
I wonder
Do you
if
think
there are
'cause she's a
residual
mutant and it
health
didn't work?
effects. That could
yeah.
be too.
But
Yeah.
years later, she might like just barf out some slurm and be like, "Oops,
Oh, my
I
gosh.
guess I got turned a little."
I guess it worked a little bit.
Fry does overcome. Well, he doesn't overcome his addiction. He just he enables it. He becomes a high functioning.
High functioning slurm
He was
addict.
still
He's
getting
like
done
Nurse
what
Jackie.
he needed to do. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Leela saves Bender. He's got the hole in his stomach now. We already talked about that. She knocks over the slurm trough to break Fry free from his addiction. This moment is burned into my memory because I constantly think about Fry going, "Ang, ang, 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 ang."
These dumb arms. I could get into it.
If I didn't have these dumb arms. And then Slurms Mackenzie comes to the rescue. He's going to get them out of there.
With his foxy ladies.
With his foxy ladies, which I think are both voiced by Lauren Tom, who voices Amy, which makes me think that anytime there's just a cute young girl in a bikini, Lauren, we got 2 cute young girls in a bikini we need you to record. Why
I'm
don't you
on
ask
it.
Weird
Tress?
because they made
Tress
her
is already
record in a
busy being the
bikini, too.
Slurm Queen. We need you to play the foxy ladies. Tress has got our hands full with the Slurm Queen right now.
Slurm is gonna help them, but he's like, "Hey, I don't want to party." Bender's like, "Legally, you have to," and he says, "Okay, but just invite a few people. I want to keep it small." Bender says, "No, can do." And I really related to Slurms because I feel like in my 20s I had to go out and socialize a lot more than I actually wanted to, and I really just wanted to stay home and watch TV with some friends.
I relate to Slurm too, Slurms, because
Yes.
not like that's what I wanted in my 20s. That's where I'm at now. Like my job was to party for so many years.
Well, he's quite old because he says to the foxy ladies, "You've been a wonderful
years.
help to me these 40 years."
To these two
Slurms.
19-year-old
Slurms Mackenzie takes off the sunglasses, his blood red eyes. This is every drag queen on like day 4 of like a group drag tour. We're just like, please don't make me party anymore.
Please
Don't make me do it.
The days, the amount of times Alaska and I got up at 6 a.m. after 2 hours of blackout sleep.
Yeah.
And then we're stumbling through the security at the
Oh my
airport.
God.
And they're like, "You need to take your glasses off for security." And we take off our glasses. Our dry, crusty eyes, we blink and they bleed. Please let me go home. I just want to watch a movie with some friends.
Right.
I also love the moment of, "Can we just keep it a small party?" And Bender says, "No, can do, buddy." No one gives a shit. They're getting their party with Slims.
Slims.
Slim Clumsy.
The Slurms party so hard that the cave collapses, allowing the Planet Express crew to escape. On the flight home, they teleconference the Bureau of Soft Drinks, Tobacco, and Firearms, which is an agency in the future. And Fry realizes that if the truth gets out, they're going to shut down his favorite drink factory. So he makes it seem like the professor is crazy by saying,
Right.
No, Grandpa, that didn't happen. And then the professor says, I'm not his grandpa. He's my uncle.
from the year 2000.
Which corroborates Fry's story. So, at the end of the episode, everything goes back to exactly the way it was before. Slurm is going to keep on chugging. Bender, I'm sure, will get that hole fixed. And we're all going to party in Slurm's honor. For Slurms.
Yes.
Wimmy wham wham wazzle.
Wimmy wham wham wazzle.
So, Alaska, do you think this has reignited your love of Futurama? Are you going to start binging it again?
Drunkity Dodcast. Yes. No, I mean, I never stopped. It was one of my one of my pandemic shows. I went and rewatched the whole thing, and who knows? I mean, I might do it again since it's Omicron Persei 8 virus now. So who knows? I might do it again.
I think Futurama is a good go-to if you just need something on in the background. It's a fairly broadly palatable show for, say you're inviting someone over, maybe you got a hookup or a fuck buddy coming over and you want to put on something to watch together while you start cuddling, but you don't, you don't want to be behooved to watch all of it.
Right.
Futurama's the perfect hookup TV show.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And unrelated, Jinkx's single Cartoons and Vodka is available on iTunes.
So good.
I guess I shouldn't broadcast my moves.
Right.
Next time I'm hanging out with someone, I put on Futurama, they're like, I know what this is, Jinxie.
I know your cheap ploys.
You're trying to seduce me, Mrs. Monzo.
All the guys in Portland talk like that.
they're all Natasha Lyonne. Jinxie, you. Ipso facto, you're trying to sleep me.
That's really good.
Thank you. Alaska. So I guess, we've already talked about it, but your Fry is the person you'd most want to bang from Futurama, right? We ask every guest, who would they most want to bang? Let's say if you were having a threesome, who would you want the third person to be? If it was you, Fry, and a third.
Hermes, or Zap Brannigan, and it's not Zap Brannigan is a despicable, really kind of horrible person, but he's very masculine, but he wears a tiny little skirt, so I think that's progressive. That's queer,
genderqueer icon.
Yes, very short skirt.
Thank you so much for being a guest. I want everyone to check out your book. I want everyone to check out, you've been churning out new music,
cranking out the hits.
You're cranking out the hits. We got lots of new songs from the Alaska Thunderfvck Music Factory.
Yeah.
The Thunder Music Factory.
Yeah.
And if you get a lucky album, you will get a tour of Alaska's Music Factory.
If you get
will.
the golden
There's a golden
ticket,
bottle cap.
There's a golden what is it? FT.
An NFT.
You gave it's a golden NFT with your digital download.
Yes.
You get a tour of Alaska's mom's Erie house.
Yes.
A house in Erie, not that the house itself is Erie.
It's very eerie.
Do you have anything else you'd like us to know about? What else is coming down the pipe? Is that
I have a podcast. I have a podcast.
You have a podcast. You're my boss on my other podcast.
This is your quarterly review, actually. No, I have a podcast. It's called Race Chaser, and we talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. And this has been really, I know, groundbreaking. Drag queens talking about Drag Race. I've never heard of such a thing. But no, that's it. I've had so much fun. This is amazing.
And thank you all for listening. I'm Jinkx Monsoon. That's Nick Sahoya over there. I don't know where he is for all of you, and there's Alaska. And we'll have another guest and another episode of Futurama next Monday on this I'm 40% podcast, the queer Futurama review podcast that nobody asked for. That's the new tagline. I'm using it. We're in season 2.
We're done with the workshopping.
And I've just
committing
come
to
up
that?
with the tagline. Yeah, I approved it. I ran it by everyone. The powers
That's
that
the first
be.
time we're hearing of it.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow.